What you see in front of you is our baby snake setup. This is comprised of many elements. The first one is the breeder box. The breeder box has been designed for your baby snake. Many people ask us why we keep snakes in such small enclosures when they're babies. Well, this is mainly due to security. If a baby snake doesn't feel secure, then it won't feed and will have other problems. The second part is the heating system, which is comprised of two elements, the heat mat and then the thermostat. Thermostats are not to be confused with thermometers. Thermometers read the temperature, thermostats control the heat mat to make sure it doesn't overheat and kill your snake. And then finally we have the water bowl and the substrate which goes within the tub. All of these elements together represent a system which will enable your snake to live healthily and happily within the tub. We will now go through how to set these things up. Okay, so what we're going to do here is try and show you and demonstrate the best way of setting up a baby snake setup, following certain guidelines. Now, wherever you keep the baby snake setup, obviously it will look slightly different. We've done it here so that everything is clear on what you're able to do. So if we start off, you put the heat mat with the brass strips facing upwards, as you can see in front of you. And what we're going to do is place the breeder box on top of the heat mat. Now, as you can see, Jade has allowed a certain amount of area with no heating underneath. Now, in the notes that you were given with your baby snake, you'll have read on a section concerning thermoregulation. The whole point of thermoregulation is allow the snake to go which area in the tub that it can do to regulate the body temperature. So if it's feeling cool, it can go over the heat mat and warm up. If it's feeling a little bit too warm, it can go into the cold area and cool down. So once your breeder box is on the heat mat, then you have to connect up the various other components. So what we've got first of all is the thermostat. And the thermostat, as you can see, for the baby snake setup, basically has three things on the front that you need to be aware of. The first two is the LEDs at the top, the red one and the green one. The red one is basically denoting the power and that the fat is plugged in. The green one is basically denoting when heat is turned on to the heat mat. So if it's off, it's either that the heat mat has gone or the fact that the heat mat has designated that it's just at the right temperature and therefore has turned the heating system off. And that is the whole point of a thermostat, that it does cut the temperature when it gets to the right one. Now, the very dial in the very middle, which needs moving using a small screwdriver, as being demonstrated now, you basically set to about 86-88 degrees. And you just turn the dial using a small screwdriver until it gets to the right level. Now, on occasion, thermostat, the readings that you see on the top of them aren't always completely accurate. So what you need to do is use a thermometer which reads the temperature in conjunction with the thermostat. And this enables you to get the right sort of temperatures in the cage, and so the snake is happy. Now, the other part of the thermostat that you need to just be aware of is the cables. The cables of a thermostat have three coming out of it. One of them is the actual socket that connects to the heat mat. So the heat mat will plug into this socket, as you can see Jade demonstrating now. The second one is the plug, which you would plug into either an extension cable or the main socket on your wall. And the third one is a temperature probe. Now, this is very important that you put it in the right place, and it should reflect wherever you want the heat to be. So if the snake's at ground level, that's where you put the probe, as you want the thermostat to read the temperature at the same place that the snake is going to spend most of its time. So the probe will go inside the tub. The easiest way is to cut a little notch at the top of the lid and put it through so that there's only room for the probe to go through the lid, and then you leave it on top so the probe is facing exactly the same place as the snake is living at. Now, in setting up the temperatures for the snake, you obviously need to use the thermometer. Now, the thermometer needs to be placed in the tub. Now, on the back of the thermometer there is a sticky pad, but what we suggest is you don't use this to start with, because you need to be moving the thermometer about to gain different temperatures within the tub. And by moving it about, measuring the hot area, measuring the cool temperature, once you've established what the temperature should be and got it right using the thermostat and adjusting the thermostat, then you can stick it to a place that you know is safe and will give you the right readings. But to start with, for the first week or so, just put it in the tub so that you can read the temperature clearly. Obviously, baby snakes need water on a daily basis. As part of the setup, you do get a small water bowl. This needs to be changed and cleaned every day, and this needs to be placed on top of the substrate, which just basically lines the bottom of the baby snake tub and goes inside to a level of about 1 centimetre. Don't be too worried if the snakes bury into it, as they often do. In the wild, they're very, very insecure animals, and they will often look for places to hide.